Yeah, that looks better. Hey, it's Madison Chase, and welcome to It's Yes or No. It's your entertainment source or news option, and I'm Madison Chase, and all the way in Wiggity Wick, Wisconsin is my girl Stefztv.
What's up, yo? I'm here in Wisconsin. Love spending some time with you and chit chat in Madison.
Yes, let's do it. So we're talking about one of Steph's favorite subjects, Miss Ellen Degeneres, and she got into the Olympic hoorah and everything that's happening with the Olympics. And one of her friends just happens to be one of the fastest men in the world, Usain Bolt. And she tweeted a picture because she's a comedian. And the hashtag is him running. I guess he's crossing the finish line and he's looking to the right. And Ellen superimposed a picture of herself on his back. And basically she said, this is on Twitter, "This is how I'm running errands from now on, Rio 2016. And pretty much a lot of people think that it is a very racist tweet because he's African American and she's a rich white lady. I guess the thing that's interesting to me, because I think he's probably rich, maybe not just as rich as she is, but I'm sure he's not living like, you know, from paycheck to paycheck. And so, Stephanie, I'll let you use the quote that she responded to the backlash, and you can share that quote.
First, I want to stress that she's a comedian. And I also want to stress that in this picture, she's wearing a little spaghetti strap dress. Like she would never, you know what I mean? It's not like Ellen putting herself, like she's trying to make fun of it. And it's clear that they're friends. And yeah, I feel like, you know, you want me to read how she responded?
Yeah, well, I'm going to ask the question. So, when did she tweet this? So he's a Jamaican sprinter. I don't know if that's important, but I guess. But this tweet obviously went viral.
He's like the fastest man in the world. His race the other night was insane. It's like he had a terrible start. He doesn't even have to finish. When he gets up to his optimal speed, he just goes. And no one can catch him, even if they're winning. The man is insane. And he's definitely in the category of one of the greatest athletes of all time.
Of all times. And it says he's the men's 100-meter semifinalist, but he finished the race in 9.86 seconds.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious, like that's super fast. So first question is, do you think Ellen is racist? I'll let you answer that question, then I'll answer. Ready, set, go, Steph.
Hell no. No. And it was like, it was just funny because you can look at the tweets back and forth because there's people that are tweeting like things to her like, this is so gross, fire whoever did this. And then there's people that are saying, y'all know damn well Ellen ain't racist, but y'all gotta act like she is because it's social media. You know what I mean? And then people saying, I'm absolutely baffled by the people currently calling Ellen DeGeneres racist because she is more or less calling an Olympic sprinter fast. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she's stating the obvious here and being, you know, ridiculed for it.
Yeah, and I think, too, like, she's a comedian. That's the first thing. And I think, number two, because they're friends. So I definitely don't think she's racist. I think she's a comedian, and I think people can take a joke so seriously because we're in such racially divided times where you have political figures who are inciting violence based on race and socioeconomics. That's kind of why they mention those two things, which is she's rich and as if to say he's not. Like, he's the fastest man in the world. I'm sure he's not broke. So it's interesting that these are the times that we're living in where someone can make a joke and people call her racist. So I definitely don't think she's racist. Second question, do we think Ellen's response to the racist backlash is appropriate?
I would say it's a brilliant response. Her response, let me read it, was, I am highly aware of the racism that exists in our country. It is the furthest thing from who I am. And I'm even going to take that a step further. I hope this isn't your third question because I don't know it. But I think that the people that are so pissed off about this are the ones that actually have a problem with races.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that statement, because I think sometimes it's almost like, you know, when you look at, when you're super sensitive about something in reference to someone else, it's normally the problem that you have or something that you struggle with. And it's kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I could pick out, oh my goodness, your breath really is foul, Stephanie. Guess what? I probably have smelled my own breath. So I think.
How do you smell it all the way over there?
I know, right? Oh, right. But I'm saying, like, I think her response is very appropriate. Like, of course she knows about racism. Of course she knows. And the fact that they're friends, I think that's like me and you making a joke and people like having something to say about it, but not knowing the history behind some of the conversations and why we started it's yes or no. And we know that, you know, we're different people and we come from different backgrounds, but we're still able to have conversations because I know your heart and you know mine, and we know where each other stands when it comes to race and relationships and just being a person who cares about people, period. Yeah, and regardless of the differences. So last question.
I'm with you, girl.
No, I didn't answer that question, but I think her response is appropriate. Like, basically, she's saying, I'm not going to answer yes or no because I'm aware that there's racism in this world, and I know that people know that that's not who I am. And basically, she's saying the people that know me, that's who I care about. Y'all people on social media and Twitter who are trying to start this nonsense.
Well, I think that's a big thing too. It was very unapologetic.
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't need to, like, she didn't do anything wrong, so there needs to be no apology. And I feel like so many times celebrities, they tap dance, or if they think they said something where they know they weren't, they're so scared to be who they are that they'll apologize, when in essence you don't really need to apologize. Some people need to not be as critical. Like, this is crazy. And I get it. Some people say stupid shit and it is racist and they have no means, celebrity or not, saying that. But this, and this isn't just because I like Ellen and who she is, what she stands for. This is because this is ridiculous.
Yeah, no, it is ridiculous. Last question. Do you think people are oversensitive when it comes to race and racism?
I do. I think there's something very sad happening in our world right now, and there is such a divide and a choose sides. And I mean, like, you know, not to get totally into this, but you could take this straight to the Black Lives Matter situation, and it's like the people that get crazy and go to all lives matter don't get it to me. You know what I mean? It's like Black Lives Matter, like, it's clear that our judicial system doesn't get Black Lives Matter in order to get all lives matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, saying Black Lives Matter with the statistics of what's been happening in the system doesn't mean that white lives don't matter. And I feel that people can't see that. And I feel that people get so, like, now people have this voice on Twitter, Instagram, whatever, and they abuse this voice because there's a lot of ignorant banter out there. So I feel like, you know what I mean? So it seems to me that there is a sensitivity or a desensitized or a not thinking before you speak happening for sure. And it's like, you know, it's almost like the people that live in fear or the people that are racist are just sitting there looking to collect information to get people on their side. And when they see a tweet like this, they're like, look, see, even Ellen, rather than seeing that if there was no racism, or if Usain Bolt was white and they were friends or whatever, the same exact picture would have went out. That's what I think.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. And I think because when we look at the climate that we're living in, and someone brought a really good point to my attention. They were like, this country has always had an underlying root of racism. Like, we've never gotten past it. And now we're reaping what we've sown in this country, which is basically what we're seeing, where people are so super sensitive, because we tend not to want to have conversations, and we tend to glaze over it. And I think by saying something exists means the other thing is not true. By saying that racism exists, that means you have to be responsible for your actions, and people aren't willing to be responsible for your actions. And in every action, there's a consequence. So we're starting to see the consequences that have been happening for years of, you know, people's racist actions, for people, when we look at institutional racism, when we look at the racism in the justice system, when we look at the socioeconomic disadvantages of not just African Americans, but just people of color in general. When we look at Native Americans, when we look at pretty much any race, there has been an issue, a systemic issue when it comes to race and race relations. And by not saying that it exists, then it kind of exonerates the people who have been doing the things that they've been benefiting from. So I definitely think that we are definitely oversensitive because we're not willing to have real conversations and take responsibilities for the fact that I might be prejudiced or I might be racist. So people would, instead of saying that, they say, oh yeah, all lives matter. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about love. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about love. Right. But to talk about those things doesn't mean you can't, they're like mutually exclusive. You have to include the thing that got us to the point where we're having these conversations about race and racism. And I think it's almost like a slap in the face where you say, oh, the woman that is abused, let's now make her the person, she caused it. Let's make the victim responsible for the predator. And it's not fair on so many levels. So yeah, that's what I think about this silly joke. I think it's really silly that people would, you know, look at someone like Ellen, who is a comedian. She's a comedian. Like she's
a comedian, and her message is be kind to one another. Yeah. She's openly, you know, gay. So the fact that she's crossed barriers to help people, like a lot of actors and actresses that don't speak out about it. Like, she's just someone who wants people to love people no matter what. So to attack her like this on social media, I think is just childish.
Yeah, very childish. But you know what I learned recently? I did a video with a friend of mine who has a really big following on YouTube, and he manages these two guys, and he works with them. And they're huge, like, fitness stars, and now they're doing comedy now. And the interesting thing about us doing a video together, he kind of had to school me. He was like, people just love to be the first ones to comment, and they love to incite you and get you kind of provoked to respond to them because they feel like they won. And so I feel like we're seeing an example of that with Ellen, especially when you're so famous and you have so many followers. It's kind of like the story that we did with Donald Trump, where that video went viral. So I think we live in these times where if you have a voice and you do something crazy, you can potentially be famous. And so I think probably the first person that mentioned, oh, she's racist, they're probably like about to go on a media blitz to say, look, I was the first one to say that Ellen was racist. So
no, I totally agree with you. And unfortunately, like, negative attention is what most people think is love. For some reason, you know, it's what they strive for, that if you get somebody else riled up, that means that they care enough. So yeah, I'm totally with you on that. But I think that, you know, no harm, no foul. I think Ellen was funny. And I think that she, you know, she stated her case and she was unapologetic about what she did. And I enjoy that.
Yeah, no, I think the joke is funny. And I think, you know, her response to it is pretty much, I'm not even going to respond to that. I'm not going to respond because I know who I am.
Yeah, she didn't stoop. She rose above, which I like.
Yeah, yep, absolutely. So thank you, Steph, again for another insightful conversation. And thank you guys for watching. Make sure you leave your comments below. The questions I think are interesting. So the questions are, do you think Ellen is racist? Do we think Ellen's response to the racist backlash is appropriate? And do you think we live in oversensitive times when it comes to race and racism? So I'm your girl, Madison Chase, and this is It's Yes or No. It's your entertainment source or news option. You can find me on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. We're going to have some new and exciting things coming up. Hopefully, I'm working on a couple other shows. And yeah, it's your entertainment source or news option. I'm One Mad Chase on YouTube. On Twitter, I'm Madison Chase Fit. On Instagram, I'm Madison Chase Fitness. My website's madisonchasefitness.com and madisonchasemedia.com. So, Steph, where can everybody find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter. I am Stefztv. That's I am Stefztv with an F and just the letter Z. My YouTube page is Stefztv, and I will eventually get these videos up as well. I've been having a little bit of trouble on my page, but we're gonna sort that out. And that's just find me here, subscribe, talk to us. We good.
We're gonna get the videos all up on your page, Steph.
I feel like I just need to get you a password to get caught up.
Yes, it's all good. We're gonna make it happen. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure you leave a comment. Make sure you subscribe to our channels, and we'll see you next time. I think we're gonna talk about Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez, right?
Yeah, there's a fight going on.
There's a fight, a Twitter fight. I love these social media fights.
Yeah.
Well, Instagram fight. I'm sorry.
Same difference.
Yeah, same difference. All right. Thanks, Steph.
Thank you, girl.
Talk to you later.
Talk to you later.